thank God for changing my genotype from AS to AA.
I'm an evidence of the liberation mandate, even when the doctors gave up on me, but God did not give up on me.
I got married on the 20th of November 1988. By 1989, I became pregnant, and on this fateful day, I went to the bathroom to take my bath. The baby came out, and that was the end of that pregnancy. In 1991, I got pregnant again, and we discovered that the pregnancy was a set of twins. At some months into the pregnancy, we discovered that the pregnancy was ectopic. The one that was outside the womb was developing. The one in the womb was not actually developing well. I had to undergo a CS because they discovered that there was also a cyst at the same time and a tumor with the one in the womb. At the time the surgery was eventually carried out, it was a very serious one. I think I went into coma. When I came out of coma, my friend told me that all this while, after the surgery, I went into coma. While in coma, sometimes I would just come out and I would just start declaring. I would come out worshiping and declare that I would not die, but live, that God has promised me a life of 80 and I had not gotten to half of it. Then I'll go back to coma. That it was something even the doctor did not understand. We spent a month and in the hospital before I was discharged to go back home. While trusting God still for the fruit of the womb, on divine instruction, 1994, we relocated from the north down to Lagos. Then my husband's cousin invited us for the Breakthrough Summit there in Rajoba. I attended the Breakthrough Summit, then the anointing service on a Saturday morning. All through the summit, the word I was hearing was like, I've never heard the Bible being preached like that, coming from a Muslim background before I gave my life to Christ. At the end of the day, I go home, I told my husband, I said, Winners is my church. And he told me everything he does is on divine instruction until he receives instruction to join Winners. That is when he can join. If I feel I am free, my spirit is free worshiping there, I should go ahead. So at the time, he also received confirmation. He joined me and we started coming to Winners together. Unlike before in the north, the anxiety, the trouble that I had, they all ceased. I became confident because the word I've been holding, it said, when I serve God, God will bless my bread and my water, and He will make me fruitful. That word became real to me. I had to join the sanctuary keeping. I joined the ushering at the same time. By 1995, one of my aunts insisted that we see a doctor for fertility treatment. When we went there, we were placed on fertility treatment. And instead of the fertility drugs to make me pregnant, I came with fibroid. And the fibroid was so big, everybody believed I was pregnant. At the time, when I sit, I'm not able to stand because of the pains. And if I'm standing, I am not able to sit. So most of the time, I trek long distances. But I kept trusting God that with the testimonies I'm hearing in Winners, God is able to turn my situation around. Going back to the same hospital for the fertility, they said I had to go through a CS to remove the fibroid. When I go home, I told my husband said, no. The instruction God gave to him is that only childbirth will make me to be opened up again. Lo and behold, there was a feet washing that week. When I got to the church, all the washing feet points, I told myself I was going to task myself, even upstairs. I started from upstairs in the overflow, the children's church. I filled all the buckets with the bowls for feet washing. I came to the overflow. I went all the points. I fetched the water in pain. But after that, I was supposed to go and take a point for serving as an usher. I heard the voice saying, "You have served. Get yourself a place to worship me." I went under the tent. I didn't go into the church. Under the tent where I was, I sat at the edge where Papa passes from the secretariat into the church auditorium. While the praise and worship was going on, then Papa started coming in. He wore a flowing gown, an agbada that he wore that day. And where I was, the flap of the agbada touched me and I felt kind of a chill run down me. After that, I discovered the skirt I wore was now sagging on me. My mind was not on it. So I went to an usher sister. I asked for a pin. She said she didn't have, because I was in recovery in sanctuary, recovery unit also. I went to my colleagues. I asked for pin. Somebody gave me a safety pin. I folded my skirt. I folded it. It was much. I used the pin. This time I had not known what had happened. After the feet washing, I discovered that my skirt was still dropping the more. My sister-in-law living with us had come from home to meet me in the church. At the time we got home, she looked at me and said, "Sister, what happened to your pregnancy? What happened to your baby?" That was when I looked at myself. I burst into tears. I started crying and I started rolling. That actually God is closer than the clothes that I'm wearing. There was no pain, there was no surgery, there was no bleeding. God took the fibroid of the size of 7 months pregnancy. How he did it, I don't know. In 1996, there was this pressure from everywhere, from my home front, from my husband's front. They didn't understand what we were going through because we refused to talk to anybody but to talk to God. After that, we were introduced to IVF. When IVF just started in Nigeria, it was a fortune. In fact, God saved my life. I was like a guinea pig for experiment. It was painful. We got an invite to come to Kenya. That the success rate of IVF then there was 90%. Lo and behold, we prayed about it and we got a confirmation to go. After the doctor has taken me through the process, I began to calm down. At the end of the day, we ran some series of tests and the process started. I had the first IVF. It went successful, but after 2 months, we lost it. While in Nairobi, I spent 4 years there. I had altogether 7 sessions of IVF. And each one was successful. At 2 months, 3 months, that was the farthest we went in some. But there was this particular one, which was a set of twins. I think at 4 months, I went for this scan again. The sacs in the womb became empty. In 2011, Papa came for submit to Kenya. I was privileged to be among those that attended to Papa. The cooking, the serving, and on that fateful last night, he was giving Rogers and came towards the kitchen and said, "Let everyone trusting God for the fruit of the womb among you come out." And he said, it's not that you are standing for somebody, nor your child, nor your sister. You are the one to come out. I came out. He filled the glass and gave everybody. He was the one that gave us just a sip. And he said, go forth and come back with your testimony. And faithful God, the next IVF I did after that was successful again. And we discovered the first scan, it was a triplet. By 4 months, triplets became twins. By 6 months plus, twins became one. And 8 months going on 9, I began to have electric shock. My fingers have doubled in size, and my palm, it's like 3 in 1 on each hand. So I called. This time around, we're using another gynae. He said, Charity, calm down. When I got to the hospital, the doctor said, I just want to be sure that this baby is alright. The heartbeat was okay. Everything about him was okay. But my BP had shot up. At the end of the day, I was referred to the best teaching hospital in Nairobi, where I was taken in. I was isolated. Lo and behold, God took control. I was wheeled into the theater, and that is how our son was brought out on the 10th of May 2012. All in all, I had 21 pregnancies that ended in miscarriages. I had one which was a stillbirth. Now that I see laughter grow, it's so fulfilling, and every day I'm so grateful to God, and I give him all the glory and praise for all of it.